All right, so if you watched the last video, one of the things that I had talked about was getting this part here. So I went ahead and was able to order this. Like I said, it's about $9. The little tiny bolts ended up being $3 and what, 79 cents, or sorry, $10.23 for all three of them from my local store. And then this is what I actually needed to get, was the water weld. Instead, on the last video, you saw me get the marine one, and apparently the one thing that I missed, and someone even pointed out in my video, was that it didn't cover the PVC plastics. It does cover for the water environment and everything, but he even made the comment that that stuff is probably not going to hold up over the long run. And sure enough, after about 5 hours out riding on the water, sure enough, look at what happened. It came right off. Even though I had made a good seal on it, it just did not hold. So we've taken this off, we've gotten it ready. I've re-prepped down the surface. Again, the instructions go over how to prep that. You're going to just give it a light sanding and use some, I believe it's acetone or like a minerals oil to get any type of oils or greases, anything like that out of it. And then we're also going to hit it with a blowtorch, just kind of heat that up and make sure that everything gets out of it. From there, we'll mix up some of this. When this goes in place, the 3 screws end up holding in right here and on those lower 2. And that's pretty much it. That's how easy this is to do. This tube did not come with it. I had to go to my local Ace Hardware and get it. It is a, I believe it's a 1/4 inch interior. Nope, 3/16 interior. And then what I was able to do is get a stainless steel dowel or a peg for basically like a shelf. They have it there. It was about $3. And then I'm also getting some of the stainless steel crimps. I'll put one down on this end down here, and then once I fill it full of the fluid, we'll slide this in place like that, and then we'll basically crimp it down so it can't leak out. So let's follow along and see how it goes. The part number for this particular one, I believe they're all the same, but don't 100% trust me on that. Just verify. You can go on Sea-Doo's website and get the instructions. It'll tell you which version you have and what you need. But that's going to be the part number for this, and the part numbers for the pins. Or I'm sorry, the nuts, bolts are going to be right here. And that's all. One thing it does not say in the instructions, but I'm going to go ahead and do, is on this here, I'm just going to rough it up with a little bit of sandpaper, a 220 grit, just to kind of make it just kind of adhere to the 2-part epoxy just that little bit better. Alright, so as kind of discussed before, I went ahead and put these 2 bolts in, and I did a test fit already, but I'm going to show you guys. Just for when I go to install this, I'm able to kind of bring it down, line up those pins, or the nuts, slide down, and then we'll actually put it into place where we'll adhere down. So let me go ahead and get the glue on it, and we'll get that done. Alright, so as you can see, we've gotten that out. All we're going to do is come out. It's already pretty much pre-mixed. It's there's an inner and that outer layer. Just going to kind of peel this back a little bit. And we're just going to take us a nice good chunk off that we need. And we'll mix that up. You should be able to smell it a little bit when mixing, but you're going to look for the consistency where you no longer see 2 different materials. And we're just going to spread it on the base of this. So there we go, that's looking pretty good to me. Alright, that's a good layer all the way across. And now we're going to go and stick it down. Let me get you guys in there first. All right, and from the top view, that's what you're looking at. I'm going to clean up just that inner edge there. It's poked through a little bit. I can use the screwdriver for that. But that should be a good stick, and then we'll get the this part filled up and done once it's had time to dry. All right, one thing I'm running into is with these, the smallest that it's actually going to go is too big for the tube. So I'm not sure how I'm going to solve that one yet. It does hold in place on it. I'm going to kind of keep researching on that. I'm not sure if I'll have an answer by the time I post this video or not, but I'm going to try. It does hold on pretty well. I mean, it sticks. I would just like to have something that more kind of holds it in place. But I might be able to, you know, put that in and then maybe bend this over in half like that or something, and then put that in the tube. I'm not sure yet, but we will figure something out how to get it. I don't believe they had anything on the Sea-Doo one, but with it just being down in there, once this completely dries, I'm going to go ahead and we'll take this off with the 8 screws, and it just goes in place on there just like it did on here. Remember that the arrow is going to point going towards the middle of the ski like that, so it'll end up being down on there, and it has just these little tiny parts. Oh, I'm sorry, it just clicks in, it does not screw in on that. So we'll just have it kind of clicked in place. You put the liquid in there, and then this is a way to, if you fill that liquid all the way up, you can tell if it's leaking or anything, because obviously the line would be empty. So that's one easy way to do an inspection on it versus having to take it all apart. All right, so following up, and I did not have this in the first video, but where we left off last time is learning that this O-ring that came with the Garmin 20-degree slant does not work with the Sea-Doo part. You do have to get this specialty O-ring. It basically fills in the gap. It was like $4, and here's gonna be your part number there, the 292002447. So we're gonna put that in. I'll try to get as much of that on video. I've already filled the mount, and it's been sitting for a few days. Obviously, when I discovered that the O-ring was the wrong one, that's basically why it's been waiting. That O-ring is going to fit right in place. What we're going to do to get some of that liquid in there is just take a nice long straw, basically, cap that off with just holding it tight with your finger like that, lift that in, and then hopefully it will last long enough to get it down in there. So we'll go ahead and do that and get some fluids in there. All right, that last tube, it just was too big. It wasn't wanting to hold. So I've got a funnel I was able to grab real quick. We'll just fill that up, and then essentially we'll hold it down like that, fill it up, and then we'll go in from the top to put this on. All right, the nice, if you have one of these, I generally use this for oil, is you can see it twists off, and all you gotta do is twist this blue to let the oil or the fluid run down. Let me see if I can get this for you guys here. You're going to want to overfill it, so basically it comes right up to the rim, just like that. Make sure you've taken those little screws out. We're going to line up the arrow facing the center of the hole. And then we're going to just push that down. As you can kind of see, I have the line. We're able to kind of check that, make sure. So see how it's going down, something might have come off, so I'm gonna have to recheck that, but that's how you got to put it on. All right, as you can tell, we took it back out, kind of reseated the seal. Obviously something wasn't holding it right, because now as you can see, it's sitting here and it's not going down at all. I did buy a little tiny, it's called a dowel. It's generally used for woodworking, that stainless steel piece. And what we're going to do, let me get this on video. Now that's holding, I'm just going to push the dowel down in there, and then we're going to grab that bend, and I'm just going to bend this over a couple times on itself so it kind of pinches the tube and make it where it's not going to drain out. So let me go and get that part. So as you can tell, I've got that kind of folded over itself, and I'm just going to tighten this down. This allows you to also do an inspection on it to see if that line is going down at all. And we're just going to kind of put this down in there. We'll kind of circle it down and zip tie it to the side. Make sure that you take out these little tiny screws and put those back with your factory Garmin 20-degree offset. All right, so as you can tell, that's kind of the final look. I'll trim off that zip tie so it's not sticking up. It's going to be holding. We're going to take it out in the water tomorrow and test it, make sure everything's going good. Like I said, the first time I used more of a liquid epoxy, it was a 2-part like it stated. It didn't hold, so we switched over to this a little bit harder, and hopefully this one will last. One of the other guys had commented on that it works a lot better. At this point, we're just going to button everything back up together and we're good to go. Also, if I didn't mention it before, you're going to make sure you use an RV and marine antifreeze. This is essentially what you generally do winterizing with, but that will keep that from freezing. If you just use regular water in there, it's going to expand and could crack stuff.